strategic and political communications consultant. He tells me that's a mouthful, and we add SG, Umoja Summit Party.
Yeah.
All right, so it makes it even extra, yeah?
Yeah, but it's not my fault.
That
I've got so many credentials. It's not my fault.
Honorable Joe Mutambo is here, former Member of Parliament of Mwingi Central. I think it's only fair that we briefly get to hear about you people, because we're not going to come here and talk about other people and not talk about you people.
Absolutely.
What are the plans, politics?
First and foremost, I'm preparing myself to take my seat back for Mwingi Central.
Okay.
I just want to serve as a member of parliament.
All right.
I have a lot of agenda. Right now, as we speak, I'm working on a bill. I want to petition parliament to amend Education Act to make secondary school free of charge.
All right.
If they don't do it, I'll be in parliament 2027 and I'll bring the motion myself.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. Umoja Summit.
As you can see, those whom we have trusted and believed in the past have betrayed the country, and the betrayal goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
So my role, I'm not going to be running for office, because I think that is also one of the challenges that you find people who get into the political party space and they look at the party as a personal property. Umoja Summit Party is the party of the people, by the people, for the people. And we are going to be organizing, especially the young people who keep on saying that
The Gen Z,
they want to be included. This is the home for them to come. When these people are in disarray on this side, disarray on that side, and we shall give them a home.
Okay.
Home that will propel them to power. When you are in my kind of age bracket and role, you don't compete with your children. You prepare them to take over. And that is what Umoja Summit Party is going to be doing under my secretariat. And a lot of young people out there watching, they will come this way.
You know, they say the person who's going to capture the interest of the Gen Zs and have the Gen Zs on their side is likely to take this thing come
I don't want to take it. I want the Gen Zs
to join in willingly. All right.
I want them to take it. I'm like the manager, you know, the soccer manager.
Yes.
He wants his team to win.
Okay.
He does not get on the pitch to run around, but he looks at the formations, he looks at the other teams, the other clubs, and he knows who to place where. Now that is a self-actualization for me. And that is what some people whom we are seeing running out there should be doing. You actualize yourself by now bringing the cubs that have been in your den to now take over. That when you look at an old banana stem or an old banana clump, you want to see the suckers, the new tubers that are sprouting out. And they must be given the chance, the opportunity to take the country into the future. But now we are talking about people who have messed up the past, they are messing up the present, and at the same time, they are messing up the future.
Watakuambia in Kiswahili, how do you work for now? And we must talk about them. And so,
Watatolewa na tutawatoa.
wacha tuone. Let's take
hawa
this.
Vijana,
Yes.
tutawapochoa.
Okay, you're talking about Vijana, and we're also talking about these two people, or this gentleman, or this politicians that you say wametuingisha kwa shimo. They continue to, you know, take us that direction. I think it's important we listen into the events of today, because all this are reactionary to what played out on Friday after that handshake. I don't know what we call it this time around. It was the handshake. It was what? It's confusing. Let's listen into this.
It's a broad-based.
Tunataka kuunganisha Wakenya wote pamoja. Kenya ni muhimu zaidi kushinda sisi zote. Kwa hiyo mimi nasema yale tunataka kuona hapo mbele, na kuona kama Kenya inaendelea kwa njia ya muungano, mambo ya ukabila tumemwacha kando, na ufisadi tumeweka chini, tumeungana pamoja. Wale ambao wanafanya mwe shauri yao.
Never before have Kenyans expressed such a deep and widespread yearning for positive change and political, economic, and socio-economic transformation that leaves.
All right, I wish that we could have gotten the clip on basically what played out as well at the Jesus Winner Church, but all in all, we understand what is playing out in the country. Mheshimiwa, I want to trust that you have interacted with the document that carries the 10, proposals that these two gentlemen seek to address for the people of Kenya. 9 of which, in my understanding, perhaps a president would have, gotten into. Perhaps at their very first times of the term, in the sense that they really do not need to get assistance from other parties or from other individuals to come and help them. Another one, the Nadco report, which is contentious as it stands. Some would want to argue it is unconstitutional. What do you make of the 10 proposals that come out of this arrangement?
First and foremost, Nadco is not a law. It is just arrangement of politicians or people who want to...
Let's be audible enough so that the sign language interpreter can as well get it.
Yes, I'm saying that Nadco is not a law. It's just arrangement of people who want to cling into power and people to get positions in government. But whatever is being proposed in Nadco, it is nothing new to this country. And if I were the president today, I would not entertain it. What I don't know as I sit here is what to believe from my president. Not a while ago, when I heard him say there is no nusumukate. Not a while ago. And today he is speaking eloquently on how Kenya will benefit with the coalition of Raila and him. For me, I'm not surprised about Raila's move to join the government.
Okay.
He is doing what he knows to do best. Okay? And allow me to use this space and say, my opinion, I had a bishop who came to visit me some time back and he told me, Raila is a spirit. What we don't know, whether it's a good or bad spirit.
Okay.
All right? He touched Moi. Moi could hear nothing about Saitoti. He pushed Saitoti away. He touched Kibaki. Kibaki could hear nothing about Kalonzo. Okay? He touched the same Kalonzo. I found Kalonzo sitting on a tarmac, a whole former vice president. Okay? He was seated on a tarmac. He touched him. He touched Uhuru. Uhuru never wanted to hear anything to do with Ruto. Now he touched Ruto. Ruto now want to hear nothing about Mudavadi, Weta, and even Kidiki who helped him.
Do you think he doesn't want to hear anything about them?
Body language speaks louder.
Okay.
Yeah, we are in this space. We are in this country. We are in this politics. And we understand better. I can tell you, there are people of UDA who suffered most to get President Ruto to power. Those people, where are they today? When you bring opposition into government, what are you telling Kenyans? That there is no need of voting. Why do I go to queue to vote?
Dr. Barak writes today and he asks, we do not know whether it's opposition in government or government in opposition. Dr. Barak.
I was just echoing Dr. Ruto. When he went to the United Kingdom 2 years ago, and he gave an interview, a rather bilous kind of interview. He was very angry, and he was wondering about this kind of phenomenon, and inviting scholars to do research. He was wondering about this thing which he called a mongrel. And he was saying that this mongrel had created a very confusing state of affairs. It was impossible to tell whether the opposition was in government or government was in the opposition. You see, we have got one of the finest constitutional orders within our environment in this country. A very good constitution on how government is formed, on how the country manages itself, on what the responsibilities of the various leaders are. If you lose an election, you lose the election and go and do other things. If you are not satisfied, you petition. And you petition in the Supreme Court. And the decision of the Supreme Court is final.
Okay.
You go and do other things. Let me tell you this. It is terrible when you have a coterie of leaders whose only focus is on power. How to gain power, to exercise power, to enjoy the trappings of power. And when this one fails, this option fails, they try the other option, they say, okay, this one has failed, now let us try this one. Supposing Mr. Odinga had become the chairperson of the African Union Commission, would we be talking today about Nadco? Would we be talking about broadening the executive? No. So what's happening here is that we are paying attention to the whims of one individual. We are humoring one individual, that this individual must be contained, he must be put somewhere. And the writing is on the wall, like I said. And if you read my writings today, if you've been reading me these past few weeks, I've been very clear. The writing is on the wall.
Three things.
For both Mr. Odinga and for Dr. William Ruto, because they are insensitive. They're behaving in a manner that suggests they have never heard of Sri Lanka, they've never heard of Bangladesh. They do not know what a popular uprising is. Mr. Odinga has been in Kisii today.
Yeah.
He has had the first bite on the pie.
Okay.
Na hiyo ni dalili tu ya mvua. Mvua bado yaja.
We will be coming to understand whether indeed the Gen Zs are just come and it's gone, or perhaps this could revive that spirit of the Gen Z, you know, to just remind these leaders that, of course, there is more that they are expecting, different from what they are being offered. But three things here. First of all, what comes out of such arrangements? Because we speak of a historic pattern to such arrangements. Historic.
No, historical.
It has to be historical.
Absolutely.
Why not historic?
A historic happening is a momentous happening, something that is mind-boggling.
And you say these ones are not in any way?
No, these are just history repeating itself.
Now that
so
these histories are repeating.
Historical occurrences, they are not historic.
All right, in nature, in any way. So what happens in such arrangements? Because then we are imagining this is a person who is not on salary, or perhaps is not, you know, being paid by Kenyans, but all of a sudden they are coming in. Do we make an arrangement of paying them, or what exactly plays out in such arrangements?
What will happen is historical.
As the Secretary says, it's not historic in any way.
No, it's historical. Somebody want to come in.
Yes.
They take advantage of these 2-3 years remaining.
Yeah.
They make themselves get something from this government because the issue is the government in power. We want to be in this government. Nobody is talking about next government. And my view, I am not surprised when after they finish eating, for now they will have table manners because they will be eating.
They are not table manners, Mheshimiwa.
They will have some table manners. They will have some table manners for few days, maybe month or 1 year or 1 year and a half. And I can tell you today, I am not a prophet, but this marriage, the divorce, it's just near 2027.
Okay.
It's going to die.
Some argue that this marriage is what is going to take them to 2027 and give them that formidable force of the kind of nature.
I know that's the game. Even though my president is denying it. He's saying I did not get Raila for 2027 arrangements.
Okay.
But that is the game. But here there are two things. which worries me. We have a very formidable constituency called Gen Z. But my problem with Gen Z as we speak today, you know, they tell us they are leaderless, they have nobody to organize them.
Right.
And once
you say you're coming to organize.
Once now I'm happy that Professor is coming in, maybe to organize the Gen Z,
right,
so that we can tap in that number. But if we don't, I want to tell you that Gen Z, they are scattered all over.
Okay.
We have Gen Zs in Mwingi, we have Gen Zs in Bungoma, we have Gen Zs everywhere. And in all those areas, there are people who have interest. And I can tell you, the Gen Zs in Mwingi, maybe 50 or 80 or 90% will listen to Mutambo.
Okay.
And the rest will listen to it. So if they are not organized to chart their way forward, then we have a problem. Then number two, my big problem which I have, and I said it on this TV, that I have not seen an organized group which will remove Ruto from power.
Yes.
Do you know why? Today, academians are looking at Raila Odinga when he came from where he came from, and he went across the country saying, I'm consulting. But for people who have other eyes to see and to understand what Raila is doing, there was no consulting.
Okay.
He is trying to build a base. And that is one thing we cannot ignore. So when Raila was very busy doing what he's doing best, doing like we have a team which is now practicing for the match, which is coming.
Okay.
The opponent are going to the massage.
All right.
The team of, and I have no problem with Kalonzo Musyoka, I have no problem with Mr. Ndaundi Tachi Mulima. But what they are doing is what women call merry-go-round.
So in no way this is going to give a lifeline to the opposition.
They need to change their game and habit.
Okay.
They need to change it. And you know, this is the country. This country, we know it better. I was there with Uhuru Kenyatta. And we told him, you have let Ruto very loose, and he has gone too far. And we were treated with the narrative, don't worry, this is the president.
Okay.
The day he will go to Mount Kenya, everything will change. My friend.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
My friend.
You see,
why do you say don't worry?
I should not worry. So, part of the problem, in fact, a very large portion of the problem, is that we look at civic activities in this country in what are called binary opposition. Binary opposition, that it's either this or that. Sometimes it's neither this nor that. And when you listen to the people whom Mheshimiwa Mtambo is worried about, and who are actually the majority, they are not interested in either side. So if you are staying in those spaces where you're thinking it's going to be this, if it's not going to be this, it's going to be that, no, there's a wind of change blowing across this country. And it's a youthful wind of change.
These individuals have the instruments of power. Dr. Allow me to interject. And the Right Honorable Raila Odinga in his speech says that this arrangement will help them revisit the constitutional provisions on leadership and integrity. Revisit in this case, I do not understand. But just how safe then is the constitution that is so dynamic in nature in such arrangements such that
is unsafe in the hands of these individuals who are looking at it from whimsical vantage points. They are thinking about how they should manipulate the Constitution for purposes of creating space or spaces for themselves, that they want to create an office of a prime minister, an office of I don't know who, an office of what, husband of his wife, wife of the husband, and stuff like that, which we do not need.
And are you not worried that if they successfully do this?
Because they will not succeed.
Okay.
They will not succeed. The first thing is this, that they have threatened Parliament. They have sent an intimidating message to Parliament. These are changes that they've been making in Parliament to purge Parliament, and to even dare tell Parliament things like the Nadco report should be enacted the way it is without even changing a comma. Why would we need that kind of Parliament? And causing the so-called majority leader and the so-called minority leader to speak almost as if they are doing responsorial mass in the church, where one person reads this paragraph and the other one reads the next one, and then they are talking as if they are antiphonal twins, where you begin a thought and he finishes the thought for you. You should listen to Kimani Ichung'wah and Junet Mohammed. They are the biggest embarrassment legislation in this country. And Mheshimiwa, I speak with the authority of an individual who has followed civic happenings in Parliament from the days of the second Parliament, and now we are talking about the 13th Parliament.
Yeah.
I have known from very close range 12 parliaments. This is the worst, this is the most embarrassing, that you have someone, and he accepts to be called the minority, and he toes the line of State House, walking in the footsteps of the majority. Now, these guys will not succeed.
Okay.
And I hope that someone is watching and listening and is going to tell the members of Parliament, you enact this thing, you will have to find a way of going home.
And so
You
what
will
is the
not-
political
you will not
survival?
even reach home,
Okay,
where
what is
you come from.
Okay. I mean, basically, from what Mheshimiwa says briefly, the political survival of then, these members of parliament, the key leaders and the key players and political parties as well that we get to witness in the country, do you suppose that this arrangement then gives them a lifeline, or, you know, and even a lifeline to new parties like that one of Umoja Summit? Or what exactly then plays out? And what is the guarantee that we can face them off?
Umoja and there's a cocktail of other parties.
Yeah.
You are seeing the face of tomorrow. And it's the face of tomorrow, not because Barack wants to become president or wants to become anything, any of those things. Barack is now a coach, going to coach. And of course, when you're a coach, we can throw in a few elders, like Mtambo here. If he comes to see me, tuta kuingiza hapo muende na hawa majenzi, because vijana hata wakiingia jandoni lazima waende na wazee wachache hapa na pale. But these people are the future, they are tomorrow. Not a government that is led by people who think that they are in office to become rich and that they are competing against those who are there before them. And you are saying that within the next 5 years, I want to be richer than the Kenyattas. I want to be richer than the Mois. In fact, I want to be richer than the Kenyattas and the Mois rolled into one and tied in one knot by the using the Kibakis as the strand. We want change in this country, and the youth of this country are ready. They are waiting for a coach, for elders like ourselves to show them the path, and we need not worry.
Okay.
This Nadco, and I've been with you, Linda Alela,
Yes.
for a number of years now in these TV 47 studios. And I have told you what is going to happen. And sometimes you have doubted and other people have doubted.
Yeah.
And all those things have come to pass. Whether it is BBI, whether it is that Ruto was going to win and he won. And when he got there, he forgot what he was supposed to be doing. And when I tell you that he's going to lose, he's going to lose. When I've been here and I've told you Baba is walking into a minefield and he has discovered he's walking, he should have smelled the coffee when he went to Kisii a few days ago. And there were only 2 MPs, a nominated one and one elected one, and the other one was the governor. That should have told him something. And I do hope that Raila Odinga is going to go down and ask himself a few questions. Finally, and I know I'm talking too much, I'll stop presently. In Luo land, because Western Kenya, where we come from, the Lake Basin, basically whether they call you Luya or Kisii or Luo, you're one community.
Right.
In Luo land, when you come from war, where Raila Odinga has been,
With the
you don't hit the ground and start cutting across the gallivanting and saying nina consult nini. You go back home and have a quiet moment. You should even be cleansed before you come out again. You should be given a manyasi, something called a manyasi or manyasi to drink, because you are coming back a wounded individual. You don't start running around the way he's running around.
Okay.
You mess yourself up.
And one wants to ask, why is it that this move by Raila Odinga or of Raila Odinga is being considered betrayal to Kenyans? I mean, if he is playing politics that interests him, and why would Kenyans want to point fingers and question? And number two, I mean, who has consumed the other? I know you talk about Raila and say that he is a spirit, but is it him that has swallowed Ruto, or Ruto has swallowed him? Because remember, the president getting into power had intentions of setting up a party that would be like, CCM, parties like would be like ZANU-PF, ANC, strong parties that, would carry most of the Kenyans over years. Do you suppose that he is successfully getting into this?
A big party means big numbers. For a president to survive or to remain in power, he needs numbers. And when you go to history and look at the voting pattern of last election, you will see the current president got almost 5 million votes from Mount Kenya. Now that Mount Kenya slipped away. It eroded.
You think so?
It's gone. There is no Mount Kenya and Ruto. Done. All right?
Yes.
So today, Ruto is surviving, is breathing politically because of Raila. So he needs Raila like nobody's business so that he can survive politically.
Raila told him, you will need me to gain power. And he did not move with Raila, and he got to power.
You see, when he got power, he had Mount Kenya.
Okay.
With 5 million votes.
A bit of Mlembe.
Yes, a bit of Mlembe.
Yes.
And a bit of his. Do you know, for your information, with all this kind of noise you hear from Rift Valley and I don't know who speaking so loudly, do you know how many votes they give Ruto? They gave Ruto? It was less than 1 million.
Okay.
Because the entire Rift Valley voted 1.8. And that Rift Valley has Kikuyus, has Kambas, has Luos, so many other tribes are in there. So if you subtract these other tribes, the Kalenjin, I don't know what, that speaking language, they only gave him less than 1 million. And there is one here with 5 million.
And they too are not happy.
And they are not happy down there. Okay? So for him to survive politically, he needs this Raila gentleman to come, because Raila has a fanatical follower. It is only him who has a fanatical followers.
They are now only...
And some of those ones, let me tell you, some of them, because we interact with them, some of those fanatical followers of Raila are now thinking twice. Was it a nice move? And I can tell you, if there is any smart politician in this country, it's Raila Odinga. I give him credit.
Okay.
Because I know he will look at the direction people are taking, and at the last minute, he will say, Simamisha hiyo meli.
On this very move, do you suppose it was tactical in any way? Looking at the Gen Zs?
For now, let me tell you, it's a game of survival.
Okay.
It's a game of survival. Because Raila needs to have people in the government.
Okay.
To make something. Because the election...
Is this so?
What else?
Okay.
What else? Tell me what else.
All right.
Make something.
Because elections are coming, are you telling us that 2027 we're going to see him?
Raila? Raila will fight.
Raila will buy.
Let's bet here.
Secretary. So you would agree with what Mheshimiwa says here, that of course he's showing up Ruto's falling party, or perhaps it's the other way around, where as many have also said, the president is equally tactical when it comes to politics.
That's what they think. You think you are smart,
and
you remain thinking that you are very smart, until you get surprised. Yeah? The writing is on the wall. Balthazar, the one who goes and drinks from the holy goblets that are reserved for Yahweh. And there's that pride that comes before a fall, the hubris, that you ignore the voices that are telling you not to splurge things in some shrines that appear to also answer to the nomenclature of a church. They are probably not. There are certain things that are just concocted by certain individuals, and they say, this is my church, okay? You do not pay attention to the mood of the country. You think that you are very smart. You know, when people pave the way for you to get to power, please understand that you are not the only smart person in the country. That is why you need a cabinet.
Okay.
That is why traditionally we have had councils of elders, people you will listen to, people will advise you. But if you become so brilliant and so full of yourself that you listen to nobody, then your days are numbered, and that is the challenge here. Mr. Raila Odinga is used to environments in which his word is law. The people who festoon him, all these fellows around him, are mostly fellows who are around him because they are afraid of him. They're not around him because they love him so much. The so-called love is just something that is affected,
Okay.
something that is acted out, some kind of dissembling, yeah? And he's getting to a point where he's running out of luck because you can deceive some people all the time, and you can deceive all the people sometime, but you cannot deceive all the people all the time. And he has now come to his Waterloo. His Achilles heel is now visible.
Something that Honorable Joe Mutambu does not agree with. And I ask him again, do you suppose it was tactical? I'm sorry.
And the spirit, first of all, which he was talking about, it's a restless spirit. It's the spirit of the lake. This spirit, for the Luo and Lake Basin viewers who are watching, is called Nyawawa.
What does that mean?
Nyawawa, you can...
Loop us in.
Yeah? Nyawawa is a spirit of the lake, a very dangerous and deadly spirit.
That seems to work in his favor.
It occupies you. Yes, in the long run, it destroys you.
Do you suppose that he would have honorably...
in your favor for some time, and the people who understand what I'm talking about out there will go and talk to Mr. Odinga and tell him.
Exit honorably?
When it's at the start of each year, or shall we say at the end of the year, there's a beating of objects, of drums, of metal, of debbays, and it is chasing away that spirit. But that spirit finds residence in certain individuals, and for a while they can mesmerize society, they can mesmerize the community. Then the moment comes when the spirit must destroy you.
Honorable Joe Mutambu.
So that is the spirit you are talking about, Mheshimiwa Joe Mutambu. And that is why Mr. Odinga, who has, for all practical purposes, appeared to be a very wise and intelligent person, walks into the William Ruto minefield with his eyes wide open. He comes back from Addis Ababa in the equivalent of war.
Yes.
And he does not go back home even for cleansing, because it's very important that he goes back home to be cleansed and to be given manyasi.
With this kind of blessing and arrangement, don't you think it is blessing enough for him to enjoy, honestly? How much more, or what more would someone want? And Joe Mutambu, as you respond to that or react to that, I ask again, how calculative was it? And do you suppose that then the Gen Zs are likely to get more agitated and probably get back to the street?
Like I said before, I still stand to my point that I know Gen Z is a very huge but volatile constituency, right? And it is not something we can bank on 100%.
At least at this point.
Without now the coach coming in,
yes.
Without other people coming in and putting them in a certain direction.
All right.
And wherever they are, they know this is the direction we are taking. But once they are out there, they are vulnerable. Vouchers are out there.
Okay.
And you could see, and you can tell, when they came out strongly, speaking so loudly about what they want, what did we see? We saw, I don't know,
Kasamuel, who's now part of the ODM.
Those ones are
bandwagon.
always there.
All right? So
Yes.
all those people are there, and they are like that. All right? So we saw it. So my fear is, how are we going to get them to put them in one line so that they can toe the line and they know this is the direction. That is number one.
Right.
My other fear, which I alluded to, is this. If there is no organized group, because nothing can exist from a vacuum. We cannot say we have a team from a vacuum. And this is the right moment now. You know, this narrative, our politics are the same and they will never change.
Okay.
It will take long time to change our politics and the way the voters think.
Okay.
We have a lot of academians and a lot of good brains like Professor here who knows what needs to be done.
Yep.
But the problem is that the people who vote, they don't buy his story.
Okay.
And I can give you a very good example. We were all here sharing that Sonko will never be a governor of Nairobi. Those academians, they were seated in a glass house saying that Sonko cannot be governor.
Surprising.
But the people who vote, they have other mentality.
Okay.
They voted for that Sonko. So likewise, today we are singing, Kenya is very disappointed with the Ruto, but I know the voters because I've interacted with them. You know him, he has known how to interact and how to make sure that he brings them together. This thing, you hear him going to Western and he is Musangarire. He is going to Mukambane. Maybe it resonates with the people.
No,
and he knows.
doesn't.
But my team, not my team, the other team now, wherever it is, instead of now trying to see how they can capture the people and move with the people, I said they are doing merry-go-round. From Kalonzo's house, they go to
Gachagwa's
house.
Gachagua.
From Gachagwa's
Malwa.
house, they go to Mother Karua. From Mother Karua, they're in a wedding somewhere. From wedding somewhere, they're in a church somewhere. And the people are vulnerable out there. They are not reaching the people who will make the decision.
Interesting.
And this is the problem we're having.
All right, we are closing on this very point. Wafula Wanyonyi Chebukati, former IEBC boss, laid to rest. May his soul continue to rest in eternal peace. The place of the IEBC as we come to a close.
The place of IEBC.
And where we stand at in terms of these processes of saying that we want to have it established.
The people, two people will determine. Two people.
Right.
There's nothing much we'll do.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter whether Mr. Odinga will be the CEO and Dr. Ruto will be the
executive
chairperson
director.
or whatever. There will be no stealing of elections in this country anymore. You try to steal that election, Kenyans will not allow you to sit in State House for a single day. So they better forget about that.
No. Kenyans are
It will not happen.
Mutambu argues
Kenyans
otherwise.
are tired. The same way I came here, Linda Lela, and told you a couple of years ago that there would be no BBI. I'm telling you, there will be no stealing of elections. If Dr. Ruto and the people around him
as we close,
flatter themselves with the thought that they can steal the election, perish the thought. It will not happen.
Okay.
I want to hit below the belt and say Kenyans are coward.
Okay.
They are coward.
Speak for yourself.
Okay.
Kenyans are coward.
Speak for yourself.
Yes, Kenyans are coward.
Not true.
Why would you argue that way?
Because I am looking at the setup today.
Mheshimiwa.
And apart from Muluka, who is speaking so eloquently, and I like him and I support him, but I'm wondering how many people will be with him?
To protect the vote?
No, not to protect. Marching to State House.
The Gen Zs.
How many?
All of us.
You want to tell me you forget what happened in last year, 2024?
The people, you know what you don't understand? The people who are organizing and who are putting those masses, they are the ones who are now together.
Gentlemen, we have to close.
You know, we need to understand
Don't
it.
worry,
We have to close.
last year was just an inoculation.
We're about to...
What is coming?
I would love to see that.
A vaccination.
Yeah?
A vaccination. It was just an inoculation.
Dr. Barack Muluka, Strategic Communications Consultant, SG,
You can
Umoja
put
Summit
in the
Party.
others.
I can put in the political, it is a mouthful, like you say it. Asante sana for
CV is
creating
very
time to
rich.
be with us.
Thank
you
you.
know, CV is extremely rich, too rich for us. Joe Mutambo,
you.
honorable politician, and equally, of course,
And
a
a
member.
party leader.
Yes, and a party lead.
Yes.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, you'll be vying.
No. I am under a lot of caution from my members.
So, no wiper, no.
No. Mutambo will go with his own party,
All right.
like him.
Okay.
I will
The more the merrier,
I will
multi-partism.
negotiate
Have a
with the wiper
conversation.
as a party together as a party leader.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a party leader. You are a party leader. Let us discuss.
All right. It will be interesting to watch just how then the politics of this
Umoja
nation
Summit
continue to
is
come
the
out.
place to be.
Umoja Summit is the place to be. I'll allow you gentlemen to come here sometime so you can speak about your parties
Oh, yes.
and multi-partism basically, and just where we are headed as a country as to the question of politics. Yes, I was just saying your name. Honorable Joe Mutambo, former Member of Parliament, Mwingi Central, says he's going back there. We can only wait to see. Asante sana for the immense feedback. You're back at home. Unfortunately, we can't go through them because of time, but we appreciate that you could join us. My name is Linda Lela. It was great having you, as well assisted by my sign language interpreter on the other end, Catherine Simaloi. I see you again next Sunday. Do have yourself a lovely night. Thank you, gentlemen.